Hi, welcome to the weekly news roundup. I'm Vida and these are your headlines. Khmer Rouge Tribunal case in limbo after split decision in court. City Hall asks Orisai market vendors to vacate after cracks found. Prime Minister asks major telecom company to provide internet in rural areas. New investment laws revealed. Kingdom's air passenger traffic rose 12%. Welcome back. We begin with national. The pre-trial chamber of the UN-backed Khmer Rouge Tribunal yesterday issued a conflicting decision whether the closing order in case 004/02. The case is against former Khmer Rouge cadre and the split decision is leaving the case in limbo. In a statement released yesterday, the extraordinary chambers in the courts of Cambodia said the pre-trial chamber failed to reach a majority decision on whether An should face trial. It said, quote, the court declares that it has not assembled an affirmative vote of at least 4 judges for a decision based on common reasoning on the merits. The pre-trial chamber was faced with 2 conflicting closing orders emanating from one single judicial office. It said the National Co-Investigative Judge issued an order dismissing all charges against An and the decision is not subject to an appeal. An, known as Ta An, was a Khmer Rouge deputy secretary. He was charged in 2015 with premeditated homicide and crimes against humanity. In 2016, he was charged with additional crimes, including genocide. An has always maintained his innocence. He recently told VOA Khmer he was not in control and was only responsible for social and economic affairs. Cracks were found in one section of Orisai market in Phnom Penh, and it has prompted the authorities to remove some vendors. The cracks were noted by City Hall earlier this week and it told 128 vendors to vacate the section pending repairs. Phnom Penh Governor Khun Sreng in a statement said only one section of the market developed the cracks on its terrace. Mr. Sreng said, quote, an accident could occur and the vendors as well as customers would be in danger. The vendors' properties could also be damaged. He said a working group will start repairing the section quickly so the affected vendors can resume operations there. Hot Van Thi, the market's director, said there are more than 5,000 stores operating in the building with more than 1,000 located along the terrace. Kun Chia, a vendor, said he has been selling his goods along the affected section for nearly 15 years. He said he has come across several cracks. Prime Minister Hun Sen earlier this week met Smart Axiata President Tan Sri Jamaluddin Ibrahim at the Peace Palace. In Spotlight, Mr. Hun Sen's assistant briefed reporters afterwards. Mr. Spotlight said the company's social contributions in education and healthcare were discussed during the meeting. He said Mr. Hun Sen thanks the group for their CSO initiative. He also noted Mr. Hun Sen asked the company to expand broadband networks to rural areas. Mr. Spotlight said, quote, he requested the company to consider expanding its mobile broadband to most of the rural areas because people, especially students, are in need of this for their studies. He said Mr. Hun Sen also asked to expand services to hospital and school for studies and research. Mr. Jamaluddin was accompanied by CEO Thomas Han and CCO Asi Hassan. According to the company's statement issued after the meeting, key milestones to further propel the country's digital economy were discussed, including 5G prospects. On to our top business stories. Prime Minister Hun Sen has revealed 2 laws are in the pipeline to promote social economic zones and establish a transparent system for investments. During a speech he made at the graduation on corporate, Mr. Hun Sen said new investment and special economic zone laws will establish a transparent regulatory framework. He said the government is aiming to modernize domestic products and strengthen global connectivity. He said the law would allow transparent incentive among other benefits. The laws would also be based on the current Cambodian investment law. According to a recent report from the Council for the Development of Cambodia, 18 special economic zones are active in the country. Last year, exports from all SEZs in the kingdom were valued at $1.4 billion, an 18% increase compared to a year earlier, according to the Commerce Ministry. Figures from Cambodia Airport, which manage the country's three international airports, has shown passengers amounted to 10.6 million people from January to November. It said passenger traffic grew by 12% because of new air routes and new airlines being put into operation. Phnom Penh and Sihanoukville International Airports saw the biggest traffic growth, while Siem Reap International experienced a decline in traffic. Phnom Penh International handled 5.5 million passengers, a 12% increase. Sihanoukville International hit a record high with 177% increase to 1.5 million passengers. Siem Reap International, on the other hand, saw passenger traffic fall 11% to 3.5 million. According to the Ministry of Tourism, Cambodia received 5.2 million foreign tourists from January to October this year, up 9.7%. That is all for this week. Join us again for another episode of the Weekly News Roundup. Hit the like button and share this with your friends to support us. On behalf of the team, I'm Vida. Have a good weekend.